You go to any party, you go to any bar, there's gonna be way more men than women.
What does that smell like?
It smells crazy.
There's been a lot of parties that I've been at that I'm the only one talking to any women.
I'm a gay man, so it's been pretty amazing for me.
I'm trying to look for a girl that's not in tech.
I'm sweating a lot.
I'm
borderline lactating right now.
It's big and it's on the side of the freeway. It's hard to ignore. I did receive approximately 140 marriage proposals.
It doesn't matter how many girls, how many guys there are if nobody's talking to each other.
Do you have a hard time being yourself?
Maybe sometimes.
Maybe sometimes.
San Francisco, a seaside cosmopolitan oasis where the dating sucks. That's right, I find myself here in SF to find love. Not for myself, but for the losers who live here. You see, while San Francisco is known for its decades-long dominance in tech, exacerbated by the recent artificial intelligence boom, it's even weller known amongst the professional class as a nightmare for singles. A city where it's easier to find a charging port in a coding cafe than a loving partner who can reliably make you climax. So join me in my jaunt across this incredibly steep metropolis to find out exactly why it's so hard to find love in the city of fog. The dating referred to in this episode largely refers to dating in a heterosexual sense. Heterosexuality is like if two straight people were homosexual for each other. To research dating in San Francisco is to uncover what appears to be a hormonal jungle of peculiar romance and pearl-clutching kinks. There are Date Me docs in which users detail personal information about themselves via Google Documents, AI bots posing as dating experts, singles pasting their bios on telephone poles, men boxing in the park to kill each other and eliminate competition, Labubu leather harnesses, cuddle parties, Trader Joe's hookups, speed dating on the BART metro system, six-figure dating matchmakers, and all the polyamory you could ever regret reading about. Not to mention a whole bunch of yappers with front-facing cameras.
San Francisco dating culture is the bane of my existence.
Dating in San Francisco is so difficult.
One of the worst cities in America to date.
You have way too many guys and not enough women.
The ratio is really off.
Everyone here is kind of career focused.
Dating constantly the same type of pool of guys in tech. Every fucking guy thinks he's a CEO, co-founder of some startup.
What's your opinion on dating as a startup founder? It's fucking impossible.
I am so sick and tired of seeing white people on my For You page complain about the dating scene in San Francisco.
People on the internet were giving me all kinds of reasons as to why dating was absolutely torched. The city was too small, the people too productive, but perhaps no reason was greater than that of there being too many men in the city. In fact, the pessimism surrounding San Francisco was so potent that dudes felt the need to run up on me in public and talk to me about it. Huh? Have you heard that there's too many men in San Francisco as compared to women?
Yes.
As a man in tech, are you worried that you're contributing to that problem?
100%. I'm literally, as I'm saying that, I'm like, wait, am I part of the problem as well?
Very likely. But in order to be sure, I had to do what many billionaire 20-something males building the god AI in this city are too timid to do. Go to a female's apartment and listen.
We've heard from some men that there are no women in San Francisco. What say you to that? Are you the only one?
I've been looking for others for a long time.
Kylie Robinson is a woman in San Francisco, as well as tech reporter for the fantastic Core Memory YouTube channel.
There's some women in San Francisco, but there is an insane ratio. You go to any party, you go to any bar, there's gonna be way more men than women.
In your experience dating in San Francisco, how would you describe it?
It's interesting. There tends to be some sort of mixed communication for men and women. Women here tend to be more career-driven and they don't really need someone to add to their life financially or to get married super early or anything like that. And men just want to have sex because they only have an hour a week between work and the gym.
These men are having sex for an hour. We've also heard tell of people going to New York.
Oh, yes.
To find a partner and then trying to lure them back to San Francisco.
That's a very real thing. You go to New York to find a wife or husband and then you come back.
Who's doing that?
Me soon. The uniquely San Franciscan aspect of dating is the concentration of AI labs. I think in the 2010s that was like the Facebook, Airbnb, these 2010 startups that sort of took over the city and made everyone wear hoodies. Now it's like a concentration of AI labs, which tend to be like fresh graduates or people who just dropped out of college who are making millions of dollars a year. And like retire at 23. It's kind of crazy.
I used to think there was nothing better than evasion. As a young corporate cog, my favorite thing to do was evade. Every year that vitally important responsibility we all have would come around, and every year I would use every resource at my disposal to avoid it. But with ZocDoc, today's video sponsor, I don't avoid going to the doctor anymore. I'm proud to say I no longer commit doctor evasion. ZocDoc lets you search and compare local in-network doctors with over 150,000 providers within more than 200 specialties across every state in this union. Plus, their website has real patient reviews and complete doctor profiles to help you choose the right one. Connecting you with the doctor used to be so taxing. Now with ZocDoc, you can see actual appointment openings and simply click to book a visit, and most appointments happen within 24 to 72 hours, with some even happening the same day. Best of all, ZocDoc is free to use, and while I'm not doing evasion anymore, I still don't like paying money. But you know what I do like? Getting access to the care I need quickly and easily without having to commit massive fraud across 14 states and various island territories. Yep, taking care of your health just got easier, so go on over to ZocDoc.com/goodwork, link down in the description to get started. I know it may seem like small potatoes, but just clicking the link in the description is one big potato towards prioritizing your health. Thanks so much to ZocDoc for sponsoring this video and helping us all take better care of our health. Clink. Now, if you'll excuse me.
We have a huge grind set culture. The recent Twitter trend was single until Series B. They've sworn off of dating until they raise their Series B.
Celeste Amadon is the founder of Known, a new dating app that seeks to pair young singles together using a unique anti-swiping AI algorithm.
Have you heard of NGMI?
MGMI?
NGMI.
I was infected with that once.
Not going to make it. There's a lot of things in San Francisco that make you NGMI. If you dress really well, NGMI. If you post all day on Twitter and you don't build your product, you're NGMI. If you are dating and going out every night, you're NGMI. The idea is that they need to lock in. They need a generational lock-in.
Do you think that there's some validity to this claim that there's only fellas running around the Frisco?
I think it's a fallacy, and I think it actually stems
What's
from...
a fallacy?
It's something that appears to be real and you feel is real, but it's not. And if there's one thing that we also can all agree on in tech is that there's not that many women working in these tech companies in San Francisco. So I think the real complaint comes from the fact that because there's less women at these companies and working in tech, there's also less women in the social scene that is super intermeshed with the tech scene. I'll go to a house party in San Francisco that's 70% men. Or I'll go to an event hosted that's kind of on the fringe of being like a party or a networking thing, and I'll be the only woman there. I think that there's way more people in SF than you would realize that are actually looking for relationships and want to date. And the hard part is finding them and actually meeting them in person.
Well, if there's one thing Dan Toomey's never struggled with, Celeste, it's certainly the hard part. And I knew just the place to find a guy in this tech-centric city who was looking for a date. The backyard sauna of his startup's seaside townhouse.
And then in here, this is the sauna?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. Do I get fully naked for this, or do I?
You can if you want to.
All right. Well,
We're here to discuss the difficulties of dating in San Francisco.
For sure.
My first question for you is, where are all these women?
I could not tell you. I think that San Francisco is a place to network and not to date.
Reagan Shu is an engineer at the AI company Browser Use in his early 20s, who likes long walks on the beach, trying new restaurants, reading fantasy/fiction, playing volleyball, and ass. Ass? Ass. Oh, I'm sorry, that says assembling puzzles. My bad, it cut off on the next page, so.
Like, I swear, every event I go to, party I go to, it's all men. They're all trying to give you their LinkedIns. It's like, it's actually awful.
So how do we get more women to come to San Francisco?
I could not tell you. There's almost zero incentive to come here.
Really?
if you're trying to date. I'm trying to look for a girl that's not in tech at this point.
It's not in tech.
I think I've talked enough about AI for like the rest of my life. If I hear one more time about transformer architecture, the new model release, and like everyone hyped about it, I'm just gonna lose my mind.
Have you been on dates in San Francisco?
I have. I got at least 5 people who just asked for like a internship on their Hinge. They said, please refer me to an internship. It was like part of their like bio. It was like, I'm on here for an internship. I'm not here to date.
Oh my
and
God.
naturally, my response is to send them my calendar.
Despite blacking in and out several times during this conversation, I could tell that Reagan was frustrated with dating, but not nearly as frustrated as Lisa Catalano, a Bay Area woman who I met later in the day that went so far as to purchase an entire billboard along Highway 101 that advertised her website, marylisa.com.
I was on all of these apps and unable to get a date or really even any meaningful conversations. And I figured, I'll just create my own personal dating website.
Since putting up marylisa.com, Lisa told me she got around 4,000 application forms filled through the site by potential suitors, about 80% of which were real.
I did receive approximately 140 marriage proposals. I had a wide range of men filling out the form. The ages ranged from 16 to 79. I have a very extensive website. I even list my cup size on there.
Right.
I mean, I'm very transparent about who I am and what I'm looking for.
Sure.
And so,
Pony up, boys. Tell me how big it is before you can fill out this.
Oh, and I need to get the stats on that specifically, but I had a lot of men who were telling me how big it is.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
At this point, it was clear to me that the attention-loving singles of San Francisco were thirsty for genuine, honest, in-person connection. Without it, everyone would soon resort to blowing their limitless cash on billboards with their Hinge bio and dick sizes on them. I decided the best way to avoid that apocalyptic future would be to host a singles meetup in the middle of Alamo Square Park, a local rendezvous point for San Fran singles to get together and stand in separate gendered groups or whatever they normally do. Hopefully here I could gather a variety of locals to discuss their dating woes and maybe even hook up if the vibes are right.
We've heard tell that dating in San Francisco is a dumpster fire. Ladies, is that true?
A dumpster fire is still warm.
I've heard that as well.
I would disagree.
Really?
Vehemently.
For women, I would say the quality of dating is low, but if you're a guy dating here, you have top picks.
We've heard that it's a bit tough dating here.
It is.
Why?
I am not a tech person.
I think a lot of tech bros are in startups where they primarily interact with other tech bros.
Do you work in tech?
Unfortunately.
Do you work in tech?
I do.
Do you work in tech?
I do.
And do you work in tech?
I do.
All the women just fleed.
They're workaholics. Some of them are recovering workaholics. I don't want to date someone that their whole identity is their job.
There's been a lot of parties that I've been at that I'm the only one talking to any women.
So what are some of those challenges that are unique to the city? Eye contact?
Eye contact's a good point. This city's so competitive.
It's a cesspool of comparison. The way the tech industry is being brought up here is that everyone's here trying to pitch their own startup at you. It really gets built into the psyche of how they view everything else in the world, including dating.
150K, has to work at Meta. All I hear is low value, high value.
What is that? Is that sperm count?
Who is the type of person that you would want to be with?
Well, I'm really into futurism, so someone that wants to be replicated, that would be a big plus.
I moved here with my partner, so I'm not single.
Brag.
We got married last year.
Brag. You guys met at school? Where at school?
So we've actually known each other since elementary school.
Oh, the school you met was elementary.
We met on Grindr.
I met a guy off Facebook Marketplace.
Met at the intersection of art and technology.
Do you mean spiritually, or is that an actual place?
It's an actual place.
We met skydiving.
What?
Who are you in a relationship? Or what are you in a relationship with?
I have a boyfriend.
We've heard rumors that dating in San Francisco is ass cheeks.
I'm a gay man, so it's been pretty amazing for me.
Do you think the gays are just dating better than the straights out here?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Are the events better?
Yes.
Is the sex better?
Yes.
Is the emotional connection better?
Yes.
Good God.
Okay, honestly, I know some people that have moved to New York and they have found girlfriends.
So your advice is leave.
Having a hobby that you can connect through is very important.
What was that hobby that helped you connect with your partner?
I would say it's actually hiking and drawing.
Hiking and drawing. Nothing else?
Nope, can't think of anything else.
Can't think of anything else.
From an outsider's perspective, folks, this dating scene was looking worse and worse. I came to San Francisco with high hopes of helping out singles, but it seemed to me like the only happy folks I met were either taken, gay, or furry. In fact, anytime I did speak to a discontented single in my investigation, I heard about the same frustrating hurdles they faced, whether it was hardo networking parties.
Any event you go to feels like, and kind of is, a networking event.
How much hotter us New Yorkers were.
I couldn't find anyone in SF. I went to New York and I immediately found a match.
This strange haiku about the overwhelming number of mid guys.
The odds are good, but the goods are odd.
The odds are good, but the goods are odd.
The odds are good, but the goods are odd.
The odds are good, but the goods are odd.
The odds are good, but the goods are odd.
And the apparent horniness of some magical place called Balboa Cafe.
There's like a few specific bars that people go to and like to joke around are like great spots for dating. Honestly, one of them is called like Balboa Cafe.
All the hot people tend to go there. People joke that it's like Hinge in real life.
You can't meet your husband at Balboa.
We also heard that Balboa Cafe is a spot. Is that
Yes,
we're
it
trying to
is.
get ratchet there this week.
Oh.
In truth, I was so frustrated that I nearly called it quits and locked myself away in that island jail they put all the other singles after they age out and turn 29. But that's when a bottle rolled up on the seashore containing a QR code that, when scanned, brought me to an article titled How to Find Love in Silicon Valley. Of course, I didn't read it, but instead hit up the author on Zoom and had them summarize.
I think there's this interest in finding the best possible person for who you are, but very little in actually sustaining a relationship. I think when you kind of over-index on this, finding this perfect person, you kind of forget about what it actually takes to find love, I think, which is making time for it and opening up your heart, which are the two things in San Francisco that people don't really want to do.
Rachel Deck is a writer and author of the Didion for Doomscrollers Substack.
I think that what makes it a poor dating culture is the fact that it's really expensive to live here. No one has time. People work for companies all the time, but it's not, I guess, what people seem to think that it is, which is that, I don't know, there's tons of men and no women at all, but only because they're in these really niche, kind of subculture spaces that don't really enable or facilitate women to be a part of them. You know, when you're talking about tech bro Twitter, that's a really specific thing, and the things that they're interested in and the parties that they go to and the bars that they go to are really specific, and there just aren't really as many women a part of that as there are in other groups in the city. There are ways that they could be more amenable or more open to women, and I don't know if they always are. I looked into it with the census numbers, and it does seem that there is slightly higher rate of young unmarried men in San Francisco than in other cities. However, I do think that a lot of the time people kind of box themselves into certain subcultures, and certain subcultures are friendlier to men than they are to women. I think that there's also a lot of women in the city, but there's kind of a matching problem in terms of getting them to meet each other.
Matching. Maybe that's what I should have been doing this entire time. Indeed, my time in San Francisco offered very little surprises. There was much ado about AI, tech, working long hours, making a ton of money and house parties with too much networking and dudes. Yet all the fuss that there seemed to be about dating proved to me that no matter how much these hardos want to embody the very productivity bots they're creating, the human desire for connection will always be there, a fact of life that expands well beyond San Francisco to somewhere much greater. Like San Jose. So if you're single in SF, try your hardest to get out there and meet someone. Straight women, if a guy doesn't work at Anthropic and instead is a public school teacher or whatever, have the courage to give him a shot. Maybe you'll realize his job doesn't matter because his dad works at Anthropic. Gays, keep doing what you're doing. And straight men, I know it may seem like there's too many of you in this city because of those weird parties you're throwing. Might I suggest visiting somewhere in San Francisco with an actual abundance of women who I bet are single and ready to mingle. The 85 plus age bracket. That's right, boys, going older is the way to go. And I got a fleet of widowed toothless honeycombs just waiting to be amazed by your computer skills. Tired of Hinge? Pick up a cane, get out of that run club and go learn Mahjong. And instead of Balboa Cafe, head on over to Sagebrook Senior Living at 2750 Geary Boulevard. It has fewer espresso martinis, but a lot more sex, which sounds like true love to me. And for good work, I'm Dan Toomey.
So my update is that I am pulling down the application forms because I have a boyfriend now.
What?
Yeah!
Come on, girl! That's so exciting! Wait. Dish. How did it come together? We can get into inches and size later.
No.
So what?
He did not apply through the website. We actually did meet on a dating app. The amount that I spent on the billboards was $989.73. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I wasn't looking for a perfect man on all of this. I was just looking for the perfect man for me.